Well, we're joined on the program by Godwin Ibe, who's the chairman Nigerians in Diaspora Organization, NIDO. He joins us virtually from Moscow. Well, thank you for joining us on the program. As you may have heard from the WFP, the global food crisis has been linked time and again to the war in Ukraine. I just wonder, what is perhaps a prevailing view of Nigerians in Russia about how that war, triggered by Russia, is then affecting the whole world, causing millions of people to migrate in search for food?
First of all, thank you for having me. That's a very valid question and very important for Nigerians in Russia, and I believe for citizens of the world. But the fact is that while we expect some shrinking of the economy, maybe a recession, as you may by, let's say 7 or 8%, as agreed by both Eastern and Western economists, what is happening in the world is much more worse. And it's unbelievable. It's a catastrophe, both on an economic level and a social level, because we're seeing reduction, not only inflation, we're seeing reduction in real disposable income. We are seeing unpredictability of the market. We're seeing rise in gas. So it's a problem for everyone, for especially Nigerians in Russia. We are doing a lot. I think maybe I will talk about that when the time comes for that. But as NIDO Russia, we're doing a lot to help Nigerians overcome the storm. If I'm going to bring to your attention what is going on today, or maybe to add to what has already been said. For example, the Eurozone inflation is at 8.1% for the month, up from 7.4% last month, and even above expectation of 7.8%. If we look at real household disposable income, set to decrease by 2.8%. If you look at, let's say, US, for example, the price of gallon is 5.6, 5.7 per gallon, much more double that of the usual rate. If you look at what I hear some politicians say these days, like, they have to choose between heating and eating. That is unbelievable. Or maybe take showers less, or brake less on the highway, or have just one hot meal per day. These are all catastrophes, both on an economic and a social perspective. And it's something that we should focus more on, trying to find peace through dialogue, rather than trying to make things worse by wrong political decisions.
I mean, that was a major part of the conversation I had earlier with Commodore Kunle Olawumi. The talk about peace, it looks like it's been elusive. We seem to know what to do, at least. We have an idea what to do, but it looks like we're going around that in circles. But particularly now about Nigerians who've perhaps had to leave Ukraine. What is the situation of those people? I'm tempted to ask you a double-edged sword, and about how you, of course, relate all of what's happening in Russia and Ukraine to people back home. So it's a double-edged question.
Yes. So a lot of Nigerians and Ukrainians have left to European Union, well, as asylum or refugees, and they find it difficult initially to adapt. It's just natural. It's a new environment. They have to adapt. The money that the government needs to provide to care for these people are from taxpayers. Taxpayers are like, they won't be exactly very happy. Some will say, okay, we have a moral duty, but shouldn't the taxpayers' money be used for investment in things like infrastructure? And of course, you can see the kickback from some citizens that are not very happy with all of them. So not all of them are having it rosy right there. And then when you think about the inflation that is going on over there, and the unpredictability, they have to look for jobs. Currently, they have to squat with someone, or they have to depend on stipends. It's really difficult. And also, when you talk about Nigeria, for example, Nigeria's a great country. Our country, it will still have to depend on grains and cereals from Russia and Ukraine, and the market over there is like cut short by 50% or so, especially from Ukraine. Russia has tried so many times to establish or to ask the Ukrainian counterparts and the world leaders to guarantee a safe corridor for export of grains. We know that the port on Odessa is mined, and ships can't leave or even can't go there to get grains for export. And the blames are being traded. The Ukrainian says, well, we can't demine it because we don't want ships attacking Odessa, and just trading blames. But the end result is that the grains, cereals, which are needed, are not being exported around the globe.
Well, it's been quite an interesting conversation with you, Sir Gordon Ibe, who's the chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora Organization, NIDO. Thank you, and thank you for the work you're doing as well.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, sir.